Lagos has had a very hard time dealing with the new arrival of the masses of people coming into the city, as it often pushes these new arrivals to live in destitute and unsanitary areas. The government is a corrupt force that only adds on to the city's troubles through its misuse of its finances and its lack of want of to help the people out, to actually be a government and to serve the people. In a world where the government is benevolent and non self serving, I think they would try to pour money into housing developments and more money into housing developments and public services, like education, hospitals, libraries. They would also try to discourage people from producing many children, or which would sort of help alleviate the overpopulation, the overpopulated areas in the coming future. In a way, they could help solve this problem by ameliorating and raising the standard of living of all people, all their citizens, which has shown to have, through studies, from my own knowledge and of studies, of having a negative correlation with the number of kids produced in families or produced by mothers, meaning that the more higher standard of living that you have, the better your life is, the less likely you are going to want to produce more children. The only jobs that these people can possibly take, the new arrivals, are very menial, non-specialized factory jobs, as a high-end jobs are really competitive, and they require university degrees and just months and years of schooling in order to to gain that sort of prestige enough to work at that job. And connections and nepotism play a fair amount in getting those jobs too. I believe that the redistribution of wealth is highly necessitated, as most of the wealth procured by those at the top of the economic ladder in Nigeria has been the result of corruption and cheating, and sort of bypassing or abusing the market and the government connections in order to elevate themselves. I think that we need to follow, for the most part. I don't think you should ever follow philosophy like totally, because there are some good aspects and there are some sort of suspect aspects of a moral system. And I think that a Rawlian moral system could apply to this case, because it's not as if the ones at the top, they're gaining more money, but the ones at the bottom, they're either staying stagnant or they're actually become living in a worse situation. So it's not like propelling businesses are going is going to help. At least in my opinion, it's going to help the poor any more, because it hasn't really been the case since. So and I want to sort of reference Kant's categorical and, I mean, Mill's greatest happiness principle. The government should be there to to serve the greatest of the people, and to also this in order to so that we can so that the country as a whole can move toward a better future. And that also ties with Rawlsian ideals, where he's like, the government should benefit the most people, but also everything should benefit the poor too. So I also believe that. I also think that should be taken into account, and those principles should be practiced. And Kant's categorical imperative also sort of ties in with this idea that if you say you steal money, if you it's more like, for me, it's more like, do unto others if to what you would want to be done to yourself. So it's like, you should never steal money. No one should steal money from the government. And that's like an absolute moral truth. At least it can be a moral truth in when it comes to the government. And I think through practice and with Aristotle's virtue theory in mind, people will become like the mindset is for many Nigerians. So as when I've gone there from talking with my parents is that they're so money hungry because it's like it's the atmosphere is so volatile and that someone can steal your job or someone will steal your money next. Like it's so like everyone's untrustworthy of each other because it's so hard to sort of make an honest and earnest living there. So I think through practice and through a sort of revamp of the system, of the government can become less corrupt. I think that city and that country can move towards a better and more idealistic future for themselves. Thank you.